cleaned it off.
You got a little rash?
Yeah, I do have a
Or
little
a
rash.
hickey?
Okay, testing.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, welcome back to the His and Hurst podcast.
Episode 2.
I'm Hursty.
I'm Maddie.
Maddie G.
Maddie G.
Come on,
Does that sound better?
you gotta get better at that. You gotta
Okay,
get better.
do it again.
I'm Hursty.
And I'm Maddie G, the star of the show.
Coming to you live from Seoul, South Korea. Seoul.
Slay. It's actually our last night in South Korea. We're just a little behind on the podcast.
Yeah, it's our it's hard. We're doing so much. I mean, I'm making.
We get tired.
Yeah, like I'm making daily TikToks, my Instagram stories, like the podcast, on top of like having fun and enjoying our trip. Like it's
and
a lot.
I'm working a full-time job.
And Maddie's working a full-time job. You know, being a star.
Being a TikTok star. She's a star.
So it's a lot to balance, and you know we have to literally wake up at 6 a.m. to catch 2 flights to get to the Philippines tomorrow. But the content comes first.
Yeah, that's when you know
Content
you're going to
comes
be
first.
successful.
Something like that. Reps, baby. It's all
Yeah,
about the
it's all
reps.
about the reps.
All about the reps. So, anyways, you know, my shirt's a little messed up. I spilled a bunch of kimchi on myself at Korean barbecue
At a
tonight,
yummy dinner.
which was phenomenal.
That was my favorite meal.
The Korean barbecue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We got
good.
it twice, but...
We did get it twice.
But we should still... We're going to go back and tell you guys where we left off on the last episode, and then we'll get to the South Korea days.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But we just
eventually.
wanted to give you a little context about where we're at.
In our cute little Airbnb called the Sunshine House.
The Sunflower House.
Sunflower House.
Sunflower House, babe.
There's a like tiny little like...
Yeah, there's like one
2-inch
picture of
poster
a
of a
fucking
sunflower.
Okay, so I think last time we left off, we finished up Tokyo.
Yes. New Year's Eve, sleigh.
Maddie loved Tokyo.
Got hammered, met some cool people, shopped. It was super fun.
It was fun. So after Tokyo, we headed to the mountains. So something awesome that you can do in Japan, and I made a video about this, and it's honestly my only TikTok that's had any success so far this trip. But a win's a win.
A win is a
A
win.
win is a win.
It's all about the reps.
Yeah, it's all about the reps. So, but snowboarding is a huge deal in Japan. It's way cheaper than the United States or Canada, or honestly probably anywhere else in the world. And the original plan was to go up to Niseko. Niseko is easily the most popular snowboarding destination in Japan. It's really
Definitely
cool.
more touristy.
So we hear. A lot of the people that we met in Tokyo that were planning on going snowboarding were going up to Hokkaido and going to ski Niseko. It's really cool because there's an awesome kind of Mount Fuji style volcano up there that you kind of view the whole time as you're coming down the mountain. And from what we hear, it's a lot more international. It's a lot more party vibes, and probably a little more expensive, but
It was like a 12-hour train.
yeah. Well,
So, right?
Yeah. Well, we're getting there, but we will be back. We will ski in Niseko at some point. Hopefully, Maddie is able to
Learns
ski.
how to ski.
Yeah. Hopefully, Maddie can figure it out.
Last time I
by
skied, I was
then.
4 years old, and my dad took me on like a blue diamond or something, and
Black diamond.
I don't think it was. I think it was like one.
In the United States, we have greens. Those are the easy
The
ones.
bunny slopes.
The bunny slope is like the child slope.
That's what I was doing.
Like all the kids are going down,
Wait,
like without their poles, like
bunny slope, then a green.
No, the bunny slope is literally like the educational area. It's like an area on the side where literally like kids and people that don't know what they're doing go to. Okay.
And then there's a green.
And then the greens are like the easy ones, or like the tree runs that are kind of slow.
No,
and
this
easy
was
down
like
the mountain.
I went like down it.
Yeah, I'm sure Peter made you do that.
It was like a triple black diamond.
That's good parenting right there.
Anyway, the emergency sled had to come get me because I couldn't get down the mountain. I have never skied since.
Yeah, and Maddie, exactly. So.
And, you know, if we're going to, like, Mammoth or Big Bear and Sobering, California, where it's, like, a little more easier to navigate, I can definitely learn, take a lesson, like... But this was, like, hardcore, like...
Well, I only have 2 days to ski. And
Nick didn't want to spend his
yeah,
time
and I'm not,
teaching
like...
me.
We've all seen those couples on the mountain, like literally about to kill each other. Like, we're all like laughing at them, like, look at those idiots. And I was like,
I'm like pizzaing down the
Yeah.
fucking things, like crying.
yeah, there's no way that we were gonna do that. So
And to be honest, I barely got any work done in Tokyo, and so I needed some work days. So I spent the 2 days working, and Nick spent it skiing, and it ended up being the 2 worst days of my trip and the 2 best days of Nick's.
yes. So anyways, instead of going to Niseko, we opted for Nagano. Nagano is another kind of ski region a lot closer to Tokyo. It's about a 2-3 hour train ride from Tokyo, and there's honestly a ton of different resorts that you can choose from. I think there's even one that's like an hour away from Tokyo that you can
Really?
literally do a day trip and ski one and stay in Tokyo. But we stayed in a little resort town called Shibu Onsen, and I skied Shiga Kogen. Shibu Onsen is...
It's just a street.
It's an interesting little town, right? It is just one street. It's a cute street. It's super cute. But it actually...
I didn't vibe there.
It actually, like, Shibu... Like, Onsen means spa, and Shibu, I think, means town. So it literally, like, translates to spa town.
But you're probably thinking of like the spa. Like, it's not like I feel like this was where my like high maintenance self came in a little bit, because
If you're American, you're probably thinking spa. If you're Japanese, you're probably thinking onsen.
I was thinking spa. I was thinking I was gonna work a little, go in the natural hot springs, which are the onsens that are like natural. I thought it was gonna be more like jacuzzis.
And no, I mean, you thought it was going to be like jacuzzis and then massages and like facials, and like you thought you were going to go to the Ritz. And I had a feeling deep down that there was going to be nothing like that, but
You didn't tell me that.
You know, some things are just better left unsaid.
Yeah.
Right? But so we go to this town. It's this traditional Japanese ski town, and there are 9 natural like hot spring baths in this town, and that's like it. That's
the whole town.
That is what there is to do in
and
this
like
town.
a couple restaurants, but they're like tiny little.
There's like 4 restaurants. It's crazy, but it's cute, right? Like, if you're doing what I was doing, which is going to ski all day and then coming back, you can go to the spa and then you can go to the restaurant. It's fine.
Yeah, and go to bed early. And, like,
so anyways, Shiba Onsen, it was dope. We got there. You know, of course, I promised Maddie that we could have a chill, like, relaxing day. We get there immediately. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to see the snow monkeys, which was a little bit of, you know, a tissel. A tissel. Yeah. But I think we've slowly...
Well, there was like the lady's like, oh, it's a 2-hour hike, and it's, you know, about to snow outside, but like, go see these monkeys. We've been traveling on the train all day. I was like, you told me we would get here and we'd go to the little baths, because I wanted to go to all the little baths.
Yeah. But the kicker was, this is why we didn't go to the baths right away. The baths are open till 10 p.m.
I went to the baths.
The baths are open till 10 p.m. The monkeys are only open till 4. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go see the little monkeys, and you can go to the baths. And, you know, it was chaos and just drama for Maddie G from the get-go. And it kind of continued that way for the duration of our time.
There for 2 days, which is not that bad.
For 2 days, so...
But there was a lot of I was not a good sport. I was like a fine sport.
You were fine.
I was getting thrown through the
You were just having a hard time. You were just having a hard time. So why don't you talk about your experience at spa number 2?
You went to 2.
You went to 2 first.
So Nick goes see the monkeys. He like, you know, he's like, let's get your little, I'll help. Because I just like, I'm in these foreign countries. Nick is obviously the planner. He's got the maps going. He knows how to do all the things. Like, so he was like, I'll drop you off the little spa. We'll get your swimsuit ready, your little towel. You can bring your little nook and read. So I'm thinking it's like a jacuzzi, you know? So
I'm thinking like, I'm so good. Like,
I'm dropping her off at the jacuzzi.
Yeah,
she's going to be all warm and toasty, like hanging out in the little like onsen. And so I get there, Nick leaves, and I go inside, and immediately I put my swimsuit on, and I go to like put my feet in the onsen. And first of all, it is probably, I'm not exaggerating, 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, it was, I couldn't even put a toe in. Like, it was like felt like the water was gonna boil. Like, it was so hot.
Yeah.
And so I kept trying to turn but it never stops running, so you have to kind of like, I kept trying to play around with like putting something in front of the thing to stop the water, turning on the cold faucet. It just like never warmed up.
I wish we could like.
I
wish we could like add. So like obviously
video
we didn't
clips
take
of
any video.
me like so pissed off, like trying to like.
Yeah.
I was so cold. It was so cold outside. But it was like a little like hut thing, and so I'm like, I finally get it to a point where I can at least like put my feet in a little bit, and so I'm sitting on the edge. I have like, I ended up putting my sweatpants back on because I was so cold. I'm sitting in my like swimsuit top, sweatpants. I'm on my phone, like
Everyone's
I'm watching
naked.
TikTok.
Did you say that part?
I'm
Oh, sorry.
So
you do that to me all the time. You do it to me all the time.
my mom does that.
But you do it. You do it all the time.
So
it might be.
So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, these two like ladies walk in, and they just get fully fucking naked, and I'm like, you know, trying not to look. Like, I'm like, why are like, you weirdos? Why are you butt ass fucking naked? And they are literally no, they're not in the thing because it was too hot for anyone to get in. They're in like a sumo squat, like spread open, and they have this like wooden bucket, and they're filling up the bucket with the water, and they're like sprinkling it on their face, and they're like pouring it on their body, like just fully like out there,
like
exposed.
Kids in a kiddie pool.
Yeah, but like naked as fuck. Like I'm sitting there like holding like with my phone, with my like, I'm like, what are you? I'm like, you weirdos, and they're like looking at me like what are you doing? Like, they kind of were giving me the up and down, and I was like, you guys are the ones that are just fucking ass out, like, naked. So the lady at the front desk of the hotel we were staying at had given me this little pamphlet on the spas, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, the vibes are just off. Like, this is just a little weird for me. So I like get out, go back to the hotel. I'm like, I should look that little pamphlet. I'm looking at it. It literally, like, in bold all caps, as soon as you open it, is like, traditional Japanese onsen, like no swimsuits allowed, very disrespectful to Japanese traditional culture to wear a swimsuit. And it was like absolutely no phones, like absolutely no talking, like everything that I had done. And it was like, don't get in the bath. It was like, don't
like
get in the bath.
Every step
it was like,
of the
you take the bucket. Like, it was like a whole, like, more like traditional ritual type of thing. And I'm literally thinking, like, I'm just posting up in like my jacuzzi at home. Yeah. So I fully like disrespected the culture completely with what I did, which I didn't know.
It won't be the last time, babe.
Yeah, like, how am I supposed to know? You know, like, even today at the Starbucks, you know.
I know.
It's just like little cultural differences. Like, I think, you know, bath. I think jacuzzi. Like, I think I'm gonna be.
And that's just something I think that comes with experience, right? Like, I think that's been a big thing for you on this trip. Like, yes, you've traveled with me a bit this year, but like, I'm just so used to like things being totally different that it just doesn't really bother me as much. Yeah. Like, and I think that'll just
like that nowhere.
Yeah, and that'll just come with time, right? Because you only know like your like sphere, right? You only know like your worldview, and like when things are, and you know, like other cultures don't always make sense. But something that comes with travel is you just go with it. Like, you just like, oh, okay, whatever. I got to be naked in the onsen. Like, no big deal.
I just didn't go back because I'm not really down to like shake it for like strangers.
But you could book a private onsen.
We booked a private one so Nick and I could go together because it's also separated by boy and girl. So I was thinking like, we're gonna get to go to these like baths and relax, and like we wouldn't
just
even
get naked and get nasty.
But like, you know, we weren't even able to go together. So it's just like you hang out with a bunch of naked strangers and you can't even see your partner. So we ended up booking the private one for that night when Nick got back from the Arctic monkey or the
snow monkeys.
Snow monkeys,
which were fine. The snow monkeys, they're cute, but like
they
you know.
Cute. You
just do a little hike, you pay like $8, you walk, 3 minutes, there's like 7 monkeys and like this man-made like spa, and there's 400 people taking pictures, so it's just, but you gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
It would have been better than just sitting at home dealing with your, attitude.
I did not have,
that day I had an attitude.
That day I had an attitude. The next day, the things that happened to me were like, I felt like I handled it.
You did. You improved.
Well.
But so it all worked out. Maddie booked us the spa. we went and we had an awesome 30 minutes in the spa. It smelled a little weird in that spa. Like two guys walked out of it right before us. Like,
no shame, but like,
no shame, but
we know we're not dumb.
This is a controversial take, but I have just heard that gay bathhouses are like some of the most insane places on earth. Like even in Dallas, Texas, a place that you would think is like a very...
There's bathhouses in Dallas?
I think, like, let us know if this is true, but I just heard that,
Comment.
Let us know, but I just heard that our homosexual brothers, just love to have a good time in a bathhouse. Like, again, this could be totally wrong, but...
It's too hot in there to do anything.
Yeah, it's steamy.
It's like too steamy.
So anyways, it's just like, these two guys come out, like not saying whatever, but it smelled a little weird in there. I'm sure that there have been some people getting it on in the only private bathhouse where guys and girls can go in the whole city. But anyways, it was a cool experience. It was still hot. We were able to get in a little bit. But then, we had a nice little surprise of a dinner that night.
Yeah, that was sushi.
That
was so good. That was the only good meal there.
Yeah, like who would have thought we had some of the best sushi we've had in Japan in the literal mountains.
We got to sit on the floor like traditional Japanese style.
We did. And it's interesting too. It's like something we notice about the Japanese, and I'm sure a lot of other cultures too, is it's like they're not willing to stress themselves or overwork themselves. I think it has a lot to do with the pride of the culture. Like if they can't give you like the best experience or the best service, they'd rather not serve you at all. So we walk in this place and there's two people in there that you could probably fit 10 tables in the restaurant, but he's like, oh no, like we're busy right now, come back in like 45 minutes. So we just kind of walked around and explored the city and hung out.
The streets.
And we came back. Yeah, you're right. The streets. No, the
Literally
streets. One street. But they were cool. We came back. They sat us, and we had arguably the most delicious and maybe the most affordable sushi we'd had.
How much was it? Like $30 for both of us?
I think it was like less. I think it was like 3,100 yen, so it was like 27 bucks.
For us to eat like a lot of fish.
Yeah, for us to eat a lot of fish. I think I had 2 beers. Maddie had a soda. I drink beers. Maddie drinks sodies. That's our thing.
That's cute.
It was really cute. So, it ended up being a good night. I got to, stay busy.
Then we watched Saltburn.
And then we watched Saltburn, which I'm sure, everybody, by the time this comes out, Saltburn will be so old and nobody will care anymore. But Murder on the Dance Floor is a banger. I've heard so many remixes on TikTok.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Is that a new song? Is that a new song? Do we know? Or is that an old song?
I think
when we saw the movie, I was like, oh, this, that song is 10 years old,
that's
right?
What I felt
the movie
like.
is set in 2008. But I have a feeling it could be new.
We'll look it up.
So anyways, that was our first night in Nagano. Day 2 was the best day of my life. So I'll go first.
Okay.
So I wake up super early at the crack of dawn. I take the bus up to the mountain, Shigakogen. It was the site of the 2018 Olympics. No, 1998 Winter Olympics. I rent my gear. It's like $40. I get my ski pass. It's like $40. And I'm on the mountain. This was a really cool experience because it's not super international. That's honestly what kind of made it great. You get there and there's not that many people. There's no lines. And also the Japanese, they just kind of ski the groomed runs, don't really tear up the mountain too much, aren't dying to get on the powder. Everyone in the United States is a freaking shredder. Everyone's really good at skiing. Everyone's really good at everyone's really good at snowboarding. The gondolas lines are massive. If you get there late, there's no good snow. But it's just not that way. It just wasn't that busy. But me being just myself, I ran into this Australian guy on the second or third chair. And we just had a little conversation for 15 minutes. And again, it's not an international place. It's you hear an American accent, you hear an Australian accent. You're like, hey, how the hell are you? What's going on? Because it's uncommon at this particular resort. And we just hit it off. And I was like, dude, you want to do this run together? And he was like, yes, bro. Let's do it. And then We do the first run together. Like, I'm not a great snowboarder by any means, like, but I've been, probably 20 days in my life, and like that's enough to be competent at snowboarding. Like, there's not really any runs that I can't do. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to be doing jumps or I'm going to be going really fast, but like I can get down pretty much any run. And this guy Andrew was just like, bro, like you're a little bit faster than I thought you were going to be. He's like, we can have a lot of fun over the next couple of days.
Your little bestie.
Yeah, so I just totally started this bromance with this Australian guy. We literally skied every single run all day. We had like the best like chicken katsu ever for lunch, and then we got on the beers in the afternoon, and it was just so funny because he was traveling with his wife and his dad. So it was like total family trip for him. Like,
and he's
family
like, I need
vibes.
a break. Like,
it wasn't even like I need a break because I think he'd skied with them for a couple of days. But like again, it's just like I'm sure they're like not super fast, not trying to shred, just like going. And he was just like, all right, I need to go by myself and do my thing. And he's just like, dude, this is the best of both worlds. Like, I'm here with my family, but I get to like hang out with my bro and like shred and get drunk. And it was just a really awesome situation. So everything was going really great. This was the day I made my TikTok that went viral. That was probably the best day of the trip for me. But then I checked in with Maddie at some point in the afternoon. I don't know if it was lunch. I don't know if it was early afternoon, but it wasn't good. And you know when you're like it's hard like when you're with your partner, right? Like it's just you kind of like we are connected in a way like when you're having a bad day, it's hard for me to like have 100% of a good day.
Oh,
and, like,
that's super cute.
It's the truth though, right? Like it's just like I'm like responsible for you in a lot of ways, and it's like when you're straight up having a bad time, like it impacts me. So I get a text from Maddie, and I'll let you talk about the struggles.
I think I sent you like 15 texts in a row.
No, but this is actually really important because like Maddie's trying to do her work while she's abroad, and there are just little things that happen like that make it hard. And this was you want to go into it? Okay, then go ahead.
So I like woke up that morning, and this is the first time I called my parents. I haven't talked to them the whole trip, so that was like really good. I'm like, yeah, like I'm all cozy in this little room. Like I'm about to have a great like work day. Nick's out doing his thing. Like life is good,
Vibes.
And I was like vibing. I was like, I'm about to get some work done. Like I'm finally warm. I've been freezing. So talked to my family, checked off the list, started working. The first issue that was like really causing me to like freak the fuck out was that for my work as a men's stylist, I'm either making TikToks or I'm doing work for clients. And so I was going to do client work all day on this day, and the next day I was going to make TikToks. And so this day I started doing my client work, which involves picking out outfits for people, which involves a lot of online shopping. And I could not get access to these American websites. So I was like panicking because I can't put together outfits for you based on fucking websites in Japan. All my clients are back in the United States or England or whatever.
Well, the shop my links too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't I put together outfits for clients, and
but
then
it was
links.
2 steps, right? Like you couldn't not only could you not like efficiently and effectively find the clothes you need because the SEO, the websites like was all different, but also it's like when you would go to like put the link in the shop my, it would be like the Japanese link.
Exactly. So I was trying everything. Like I was trying to download the correct VPN. I was trying to change my like Safari location back to the United States, trying to go to each individual website, change the language. Like it was very complicated.
And who saved that?
And you didn't save the day.
Oh, I saved the day.
You were like, try to use this one VPN, and so.
Well, let's talk about why we had an experience with the VPN the night before.
Because I wanted to watch Saltburn.
Right.
So like Nick was like, okay, like downloaded this particular VPN to watch.
Well, no,
this
because
movie.
we can't like we would go. We love Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? We always watch Curb, and it's like we tried to log in
on Max.
We like tried to log in on Max, and it's like, oh, like it isn't available from your location. And then we tried to like watch stuff on Amazon, and it was like, oh, this isn't available in your location. And so we're realizing it's like we're not going to be able to watch anything. And I'm like, let's just get a VPN.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth it. Like, it's worth $5 a month for you to be able to watch Curb and unwind at night.
Yeah. So that VPN, for the same one that I used the night before, was the one that eventually ended up working, but not like, it wasn't great, but at least I was able to access these websites. But like, I was like 4 hours into the day and I hadn't even finished like one project for one client. I had like 4 that I was supposed to do that day. And so I was like, okay, once I finish one of these, like I finally got the VPN, once I finish one of these, like I will reward myself with lunch, which should be around like 1 p.m. Like I hadn't even
It's
eaten.
Also like pissing rain, which was great because it was dumping snow on the mountain. I forgot.
No, it was dumping snow too, in where I was. I have that photo of all the little snowflakes. But
which was awesome for me because I got a pouty.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, we get it. So I obviously had been crying when I couldn't get the work done because my job is very important to me. I quit my corporate job. This is now my full-time job. A big part of me.
My fly.
You fly us down?
My fly.
A big part of me going on this trip was the fact that I can focus on my side hustle, which is now my full-time job, because I really want to make something of it. I'm a very career-driven person. It's really important to me. So the fact that I was thinking like I'm not going to be able to like get work done, I was like fully spiraling. And so
you're like, my life is fully
I'm like, my life's over. I'm gonna have to leave this trip. I'm gonna have to leave Nick here or tell Nick.
I'm like having beers with my bro.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's over.
I'm like, oh fuck.
So once I got the VPN, I was like, okay, perfect. Like I'll bam out this one client, reward myself with lunch, and I was like, I'm just gonna get it at the hotel because they have a lunch and a dinner. And they had like some American food on there. They had like pasta,
it's like the only Western
pizza.
restaurant in town.
And so I was like, perfect. Like I've had a lot of ramen and sushi. Like this will be like, this is gonna hit, you know? I go downstairs because everyone goes skiing and snowboarding during the day. Like the little street is like dead ass closed. Like there is like no one there because everyone's gone. So like even when I like came down to like the lobby of the hotel, like they even have the lights off. Like, they have the lights off. It's like no one's there. And so I was like, are you guys, like, not doing lunch today? And she's like, no, like, we decided to, like, close today for lunch because of the weather. And I was like...
Which makes sense for them, right? Like, if they're the restaurant and, like, it's snowy out and nobody's gonna, like, walk around the town and go to the spas.
But it's just, like, another example of, like, a cultural difference where, like, in like the United States, like you can look up the times of when a restaurant's open. It's open from like 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. every day. Besides like Christmas morning, like you can always know. Like they can always kind of decide.
Nobody's gonna leave money on the table in the United States. If there's a customer to be had, you can guarantee somebody's there working to take that business.
But like in Japan, we just noticed that like they can kind of close when they want, especially in like a small ski town. You know, they don't have to be open. Like, or if there's open tables at a restaurant, they don't have to serve you. Like, then whereas like everyone's always trying to produce like the most people possible in the United States.
And we're honestly the minority in that sense in the world.
Yeah, we're hustlers.
Yeah, we are. That's one way to put it.
So I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna eat until Nick gets back at 5 p.m. And at like 2:30, I was like, I'm literally gonna like die right now.
And of course they had like a bunch of good shit at the resort. They
had, Nick's like, I'm having a hot dog and a beer right now, and I was like, we ended up talking on the phone. And I was like, don't fucking tell me. Like I was like, I'm happy for you, but like I don't want to hear about your good day. I'll hear about it later when I'm in a better mood. Like, don't tell me. Yeah. So I'm walking up and down the street. Everywhere is closed. Everywhere. Like, I'm on Google Maps. I'm asking the front desk lady for recommendations. She's giving me a list. It's all closed. I finally stumble upon this little restaurant. It has a little open sign, but it says on the sign, like, we don't speak English. And I was like, okay, this is going to be super fun. So, and I had no service also, unless I was connected to Wi-Fi. No service at this place. And so I go into this little restaurant. I'm starving. I'm freezing. I'm pissed off. And they don't have an American menu. The guy doesn't speak any English, obviously. And my Google Translate wasn't working because I didn't have any service and they didn't have any Wi-Fi at this restaurant. So it's like a tiny little 3
So you
table.
could have ordered wrong.
I literally went like this. I just pointed at something because I didn't know the menu's in Japanese. I literally had just pointed at something, got some like nasty ass noodles. Like I'm literally crying as I'm eating my noodles. Like it sounds dramatic, but it was just like I was tired, I was cold, I was hungry, I was pissed off about the work thing, like I was lonely. Yeah, open the window. So it was just a pile-on of things, but
yeah.
And then my credit card got declined when I went to go pay. He's like, we're cash only. I'm like, I don't have any cash. Like, Nick has the cash. So then I'm like crying to the guy. It's really embarrassing. This like couple walked in that spoke English. They're like trying to help me. That he ended up taking my debit card, but he was like really mad about it. He was like this very like old, angry Japanese guy. So it was just like a very stressful day all around. And I got back, got a little bit more work done, and then Nick came in at like 5-ish.
Yeah. I got home at 5.
Gave me a big hug.
Yeah, I gave you
felt really bad for me.
I knew it was a tough
He also
day.
was supposed to bring me back a hot dog, and they closed.
Yeah, no, exactly. Of course, like I'm at lunch. I'm asking the guy. I'm like, hey, like when do you guys close so that like I can come back and bring some stuff home? And he's like 4. We close at 4. And so of course, like we cut our day a little bit early. We were like so gassed. We were so tired. I couldn't have done another run if I tried. But we came back early, and I tried to get the hot dogs. Of course, they're closed. So I've got to like walk back, come back home with my tail in between my legs, tell Maddie I couldn't get our hot dog. But, you know, we came back. We had the restaurant was open for dinner.
The hotel. So I was able to get a little bit of American food.
Yeah, you got some
that
pizza.
That kind of helped. I took a like long ass shower, like, you know, just kind of shower off the day.
And it was a nice room. Like it was
cozy.
It was super cozy, super warm. It's a traditional like Japanese style ryokan with like floor beds, but like they have mattresses, they have a bunch of like covers. Like it was a really cool experience. Obviously there was not a bathroom in the room, so that kind of sucks, but
also the women's bathroom was on a different floor.
But the men's bathroom was on a different floor in first place, so we were even.
No, because then we also stayed at the place in Osaka, and the women's bathroom was also on a different floor.
Well, that was Kyoto, but we'll get there.
Or Kyoto, yeah.
So anyways, day 2, day 1, or day 2, whatever. It worked out.
Yeah.
Vibe, morale was a little bit higher. Day 2, I kind of had the same experience. Me and Andrew just tore it up all day and had an epic day. This was really cool because the first day it was just like blizzarding the whole day. So we got a bunch of fresh powder, did some really good runs. In day 2, perfectly clear skies, saw a ton of views, got a bunch of good videos. I did sustain a small injury. It's so funny. It's like, I'm like, okay, dude, like, you know, you just have to not get hurt. You're backpacking for 6 months. Like, nothing would ruin the trip like a ski injury. And, of course, we have a great day. We get through lunch, and then we kind of get on the beers a little bit in the afternoon.
We get tipsy.
Yeah, Andrew gets me a huge IPA at lunch, and then we have a couple silver bullets, which are the Asahi? Super dry.
Asahi.
Super dry. Anyways, I think I had like 4 beers. It was like 2 o'clock. We're going down our favorite run, like a bunch. I literally got like the most epic video of my life doing this run yesterday, and I'm like, I got this. And then I fully do like a 360 tumble. First hit my head, and then hit my back. I fully felt it, like heard it crack. And that was like kind of it for the day. I literally had to like heel side my way down the mountain, and like I'm lucky. I think it's just a minor herniated disc, but here we are like 10 days later, and it does still hurt. Like I'm through the worst of it. It's not a big deal. These things typically heal on their own, but yeah, I got hurt. I hurt in my back.
You hurted.
I hurt in my back, but anyway, so me and Andrew finished off. We just had like great vibes, you know. We just really connected. I'm a really not outgoing but just open person. I kind of like wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm kind of unapologetic about who I am, what I believe, what I feel, and I think it rubs some people the wrong way, but I think most people find it really refreshing to just, you know, someone who's honest. Honest.
Unapologetically himself.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but you said it for me.
Yeah, because people say that about both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I just tell it how it is, and I think he was from Australia, and I don't know what the culture's like there right now, but I think, again, it was just really nice to have, you know, a friend, and we just cut it up all day, and he's like It's like, this would be a really good podcast for young men. I'm like, bro, like, I'm recording one with Maddie.
Yeah.
You can hop on.
You can be a guest appearance.
Yeah, so it was just awesome being able to have a buddy and make a friend on the mountain and have 2 days. It's just so like it's just so much better to share experiences, right? Like at the end of the day, like life is about experiences, but it really comes down to relationships. Like I think the reason that was my favorite part of the trip so far was because I got to share it with a friend, you know, and babe, I don't mean it like that, but like it was snowboarding. It was awesome. Like that.
You got to share an experience with someone.
Babe, I'm sharing every experience all day with you all the time.
I know, but that didn't really prove the point very well.
My point is, it's just like snowboarding is epic. Like my snowboarders out there know, but it just made it so much better that I made it's not just like a guy that we were just like casually hanging out with. Like we connected. He's like, yo, dude, come stay with me up in Cairns. Like we'll golf. We'll go out on my dad's boat. Like it'll be sick, bro. Like that's my boy. So anyways, we had a great day. I think Maddie had a productive work day.
They actually at the hotel, I was able to get breakfast at the hotel that day, so I got a bagel and that kind of filled me up. And then I was able to rent a workspace. Like they have like a little office space, and the office space was so nice. So I stayed in there like literally all day until Nick was done. So I got a lot of work done. I was in like a cozy little big desk. It was great.
But we were panicked at the beginning of the day because day 1 was supposed to be about like doing style guides, and day 2 was supposed to be about making TikToks. But we had to check out of the room at 10,
which was another. And I was like, holy shit! Like, where am I supposed to fucking film? It's not like when you guys think hotel, like it's not like some big like lobby. Like it's literally like a little check-in desk and then like a little dining area, which they have fully like roped off because again they closed for lunch that day. So I was like, I told a lady, like I was like, hey, can I extend my checkout? I need to like film stuff for my job. And she was like, no. And I was like, and then she's like, oh, we don't do that. I was like, okay,
sorry.
And then I was like, what should I do? I was just like, can you help me? Like I was like, do you guys have like, can I like go in your like fucking like
can I go in the staff quarters and film,
like
please?
Office? And she was like, oh, you can like rent this office space, and she's like, it's like 1,000 yen or whatever. And
no, you said it was like
I don't
$20.
Remember what the things was anymore.
We've moved on. We're in South Korean won now.
It was $13 for 2 hours. So, and I rented for 2 hours and stayed in there for 6 hours and only paid for 2 hours.
You know, and that should be a lesson to all of you. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, she's like, how long are you going to be in there? And I was like, probably 2 hours, paid for the 2 hours. And then it was like, when the 2 hours was up, I was like, she hasn't like come to like check on me. Like, I want to stay in here.
What would you have gained by following the rules? Nothing.
Well, I'm like, also, if she had come in and been like, hey, can you pay for the extra time? Absolutely, you know?
Yeah, of course, but that's just the gamble, right? It's like...
Yeah, I was like, I might as well just stay in here instead of, like, going back out and be like, I'm going to stay longer. Can I pay a little bit more?
Yeah.
Tracking her down. Like, she didn't give a fuck, you know?
That was the move. That was smart.
Yeah.
So anyways, Maddie had an awesome, productive work day. I finished up at the resort. We came back. And this was our first, I think, real, like, travel day of the trip. Like
we just took like 1,000 trains.
No, but it's just like, that's the thing about travel, right? It's usually like 3 days of like fun and activities, and you have one just awful travel day. It's like those TikToks where it's like the bad side of travel when you're on like a 20-hour like night bus.
I also had to figure out how to get to the bus station by myself.
Well, we ended up being on the same bus.
But I was ready to go.
Yeah.
With no service. I figured out how to get to the bus station.
She was super brave. It made a lot more sense for Maddie to meet me at the train station than for me to come back to the hostel and pick her up and then us go. So you were amazing. Again, it did work out where like I was literally already on the bus she was getting on, and I had to like tell the guy, I don't know if it was the wrong bus or whatever, but he was annoyed that I like made him pick you up. But
you're like my girlfriend.
I was like, do not leave that white bitch.
Big ass backpack. I'm like, Nick.
Yeah, a huge American flag patch. But anyway, so we picked up Maddie, and then we made a journey to Osaka, And this was the first tough
I
travel
loved
day.
Osaka.
Well, there was drama on the way there too.
Why?
There's always because there just was.
What was the drama?
The drama was okay. So to get from Nagano to Osaka, we needed to take 3 separate trains. We needed to take a train. We need to take a train from basically Shiba Onsen to Nagano Station, from Nagano Station to Nagoya Station, and then from Nagoya Station to Osaka. We probably could have taken the bullet train, but we wanted to save a little money. That's just like, if FYI, the bullet trains in Japan are so expensive. Like you can save a lot of money flying around Japan. They are scenic and convenient, but you could do JR Pass depending on how long you're there, how many trips you need to go. But the JR Pass went from like $230 to $350, like literally at the end of 2023. So I don't think it's as good of a value as it once was. Anyways, so we had to book 3 separate trains. I'm like, okay, like it's supposed to be $90 for this whole ride. And then we booked the first train, it's all good, it's like $10. But then we booked the second train and it's a wee bit expensive. It was a little more expensive than I thought. It was like $60. And that wasn't even the bullet train. And then, so I'm kind of slowly realizing that there's an issue, that I've done something wrong. And long story short, book all of your tickets at once. Like there's Japan Rail, that's one company, and then there's Shinkansen, that's another company, and there's all these regional like lines. And I figured you have to like book all these legs separately. You can do it all together. And so these tickets ended up being like $30 more expensive because I booked them like separately instead of in one ticket. And it's just so defeating. Like, we're budget traveling. We specifically went this route to save money, and then to not save the money, it hurts, you know. And I kind of hyperfixate on this stuff. But we're backpacking for 6 months, baby.
I know, but I just feel like you get really angry, whereas like normal people be like, fuck, that's annoying, I just spent an extra $30. Like, yeah. It like pains your soul. Like it like does. Someone personally like did something to you. And
it does. And I'm working on that.
Yeah, you gotta work on it.
I'm working on that, but again, it sucks when you're supposed to pay $90 and you gotta pay $115. That sucks. I mean, that's a day's worth of food for us. Like, again, if we were just there for 3 weeks...
Thank God we're not, like, poor and can actually,
sure.
Like, you know, $30 is nothing.
But you never, again... Like,
if it happens every time, then it's something, but like...
There are just people in different financial situations. We're fortunate that we, you know, saved up really hard. We have ways of making money on this trip, but, like, you know, if you were on a really tight budget, like, there goes your beer money. There goes your food money. You're eating 7-Eleven ramen for the day. So, anyways, book all your tickets at once if you're gonna. They can help you out. It's Japan. It's super efficient. So long day to Osaka. And I think we're gonna take a short break